What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We are in the gym again after last week's move. Yeah, it was a very stressful week, but we're back in here. We've been working out. I know we haven't checked our weight. I checked it before we filmed because I'm not proud. We are at 92 kilograms because we just had a bit of not so great eating, which is okay. Look, at least we're not all the way back to 95. Didn't eat that much, but yeah, cool. Today we're doing a push day. We're gonna push some heavy weight. And yeah, we're gonna start again on our Smith machine. Let's hope the face doesn't go as red. How's the lighting? Is it just reflecting off my face? Okay, I'm closing my eyes. I had to do this all I'm feeling. Have you ever looked directly into the sun and it blinks? It is currently winter, which means it's below 24 degrees Celsius. Yeah, I always used to tell myself, I love winter. I would survive in a cold place. And then Durban winter comes and I realize I'm a liar. I would not do well with a cold place. My parents like to remind me when I was really, really young, like 4 years old, we went to like the Berg where it snows, and we played amongst the snow a little bit and stuff because it was snow in the mountains occasionally. And my parents afterwards were going home and they asked me, how'd you find it? And the little 4-year-old me says, I like it. I just wish next time there'd be warmer snow. I was a child. Last week, I was training by myself, got 95 for 8. Let's do 100 today, let's see it. Let's see how it goes. It's a bit intimidating. I mean, I've been doing 95 for the last few months, but I don't know why. Just the two thick plates on there, it just feels a lot different. But let's see. I think if we get like 4, if we get 4, I'll be pretty stoked. Okay, there's clouds now. I can actually see. Hey, 6, that's not bad. That's really good. I'm stoked with that. Nice. Although that last rep, I don't know how long it actually took, but it felt like I was underneath that thing forever. But nice. Okay. Nice. One thing I have been trying when I do my lifts and stuff now is, usually people tell you like when you're benching or when you're doing lateral raises or something to really like squeeze the bar as hard as you can. This might not be the best thing to do because what can happen is, like your central nervous system recruits your muscle fibers to do stuff. And by squeezing the bar in certain movements, what it's doing, instead of just recruiting, like for example, a chest press, instead of just recruiting your chest and your triceps, what it's now doing is recruiting your chest, triceps, and now your forearms as well to make sure you squeeze. So look, it depends on the exercise. If you need to squeeze and engage certain muscles, you should do that. But if you're doing a movement and it doesn't really require you to squeeze or something like that, just try it out. Try relaxing the hands and seeing if you get a better connection. See if you lift a bit more weight. I've been trying with this lateral raise machine here, because look, it's here, and you're there. All the weight is on the elbows. And what I used to do is I'm here, and then I squeeze on these as hard as I can. But now, instead of just recruiting shoulders, it's recruiting shoulders and forearms. And since I've kind of started relaxing my hands, I've been feeling my shoulders a bit more. So give it a try. Maybe you'll feel more, maybe you won't. I think you will. I'm willing to bet money. willing to bet money on that one. Okay, let's do this thing. Is it on? Heavy. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, big difference. We talked about walking on the treadmill last time, and it's still very good. I would still employ you to do it, but the thing is, you're not going to burn. Oh, that's loud. The thing is, you're not going to burn, 10 kilograms if you walk once on the treadmill. So, like me, usually for an hour on a bit of an incline, it estimates that I burn about 400 calories walking for an hour. And if you calculate that into how many kilograms you're losing, it is 0.05 kilograms, which might make you think, dude, that's like not even worth it. Yeah, if you only walk once, it's not worth it. But think about it, if you walk 4 times a week, that's 0.2 kilograms extra that you're burning on top of the calories you'll burn while being in a calorie deficit. And if that doesn't sound like too much either, okay, now times that 0.2 by 5 weeks, right? If you go 5 weeks and you walk on the treadmill for 4 hours a week, you'll lose an extra kilogram every 5 weeks. And if you think about it in the long term, dude, it is for sure worth it. Like my goal is to lose 10 kilograms in ideally, 8 to 12 weeks. So if I walk on the treadmill every week for like 4 times a week, I'm losing an extra 1 to 2.5 kilograms in that time on top of being on a calorie deficit. So it's definitely worth investing, but you need to think about it in the long term, not just the short term, okay? Sorry, after an hour, you're not gonna get that 6-pack. I wish you could, I really wish you could, but it's just not how it works. Also, news update. Upon further investigation of this machine, each little plate thing is 5 kilograms, not 10. Yeah. Honestly, I really like this gym a lot. Like even my dad, he watches my videos and he was saying how he wasn't expecting this gym to be this nice. And look, until this gym decides to sponsor me, I am gatekeeping it. This is my gym. Buzz off. Okay, cool, so we're doing our chest flies. I've adjusted it so I can get a little more emphasis on the stretch because it definitely makes it more difficult, which is what I want. Just to reach that point of failure more. So there usually is a little bit of a stop here, so I can't squeeze as much, but I mean that and that, if you look at my chest, there's not really much change happening versus there and there, this angle here is opening a lot. So I would focus more on that. Okay, let's do this thing. Big set. Nice, that felt good. I think I can definitely go heavier though, which is crazy. I've been cutting, but for a lot of my lifts, I've been getting stronger, and I think it's because of 2 reasons. One, I've been training more consistently now. I went through a season where I was very apathetic towards a lot of the things. It's horrible being in a place where the things that used to excite you and bring you joy, you just feel nothing. But I implore you, please keep going, push through it. So that was one of the main reasons I was struggling coming to the gym. I would train 2, maybe 3 times a week, but it wasn't good. Versus now, if I train only 3 times, it's a bad week. Last week was a bit of a bad week because of moving, but now we're kind of back at it, and I can see the lifts are going up. And the second reason why lifts have been getting better, I think, is because I've decreased the sets I do. So it used to be 1 warm-up and 3 working sets. Now we do 1 warm-up and 2 working sets. And it forces you to lock in more. Because you're like, cool, I only got 2 sets to get this feeling of, boom, I've worked hard. So doing that, it locks you in more. You're like, oh man, that felt light. I'm not worrying about my next set and being fatigued for it because I only got one more. So it's a different mentality. If you feel like you're stuck, dude, try it. Change your sets, change your rep range. It's very nice to have a slightly new stimulus. You just try these things. You shouldn't be stuck on the same reps or the same sets, amounts of them forever. You should always be every now and then, changing and modifying. Even exercise selection too. Oh yeah, that feels heavy. Yeah. Nice. Nice. That's what I wanted. That was difficult. But that's when we're gonna get the titties.
Yeah, boy.
I can flex this one a little, but the mind muscle connection's not so much there. But we'll work on it. Okay, so we're gonna try and work the front delts a bit now. We're gonna do front raises. Look, usually you don't have to do an exercise that's going to isolate the front delts because they get worked in a lot of pressing movements. So your bench press, incline, overhead press, there is a lot of front delt work. But I've kind of done a slightly new program now because we're on a cut where we are doing less exercises. So that means the front delt by itself isn't actually getting a lot of work outside of doing our incline chest press. So that's why I've added an exercise just to isolate the front delts and get a good burn with it. Because if you work the front and the middle delt, that's what's going to give you the 3D look of your shoulders when someone faces you in front. So I'll show you how to do it. Here, arms about shoulder width apart. You want to keep the arms locked. Don't swing when you go up. What you want to do is be nice control, up, and then control down, up, and then control down. Okay. Nice. I had a bad weekend of eating, right? Had a lot of brownies, and then literally from, I think it was Friday, yesterday, and Monday, it was kind of, supper was takeout. And it got me thinking, I really wanted to talk about what happens when you have a bad weekend, a bad week of eating where you kind of just go off the rails and, you just eat whatever you want to eat like you used to. And first thing I want to tell you is what we're not going to do is punish ourselves. Okay, the last thing I want us to do is develop a bad relationship with food, because I know a lot of people have that already, with social media and comparison and stuff. And what you really want to do while working out, while dieting, whether bulking or cutting, is you want to make sure you have a good relationship with food. And the way you can do that is you mustn't associate food with rewards or punishment. You can associate, sugar, maybe your favorite dessert, with reward or punishment. That's cool. But food in itself, no. And what I mean by this is, if you have a bad week of eating, that doesn't mean starve yourself for the next week. Because it's going to harm your relationship with food, and it's actually going to do more damage to your metabolism than it is going to help. Because imagine this, let's use money for an example. If you're working a job and 1 week you get your full pay, 100% of the pay that you do, but then the next month you only get 25% of that pay. The next time you get 100%, you're going to save half of that. So that next time when you don't get paid as much, or you don't know how much you'll get paid, you at least have that, in the bank. Same thing kind of happens with your metabolism. It goes into this survival starvation mode, where it's we don't know when food's going to happen, when we're going to get food next. So what we're going to do is we're going to store it, right? And yeah, this just adds to the bad relationship with food. messing with your metabolism, all of it's not good. What we do want to do if we have a bad week is we just want to continue where we left off. Might add an extra week, maybe even 2, but I doubt it'll be 2. Like I had a horrible weekend and I actually had a horrible 2 weeks if I'm really being honest. And it only added a kg and a half. And I guarantee you, most of that's water weight. It'll go down very quickly. And at most, it's delayed me by 2 weeks. So you're like, oh, but I want it to be summer ready in 10 weeks. Trust me, in 12 weeks, you'll look just as good, okay? That 2-week difference is not gonna make a hell of a difference, only to you who sees yourself in the mirror every day. Everyone else, not gonna notice that much, right? So just keep going, just pick up where you left off. You know, it's like when you run a marathon and you trip and fall, you know, the stewards don't take you all the way to the beginning of the race, right? You pick yourself up and you keep going. You might have a cut, you might have a bruise, but you keep going. It's the same thing with food. It's the same thing with anything, really. Even like, you know, addiction. You know, if you've been fighting an addiction and you've been sober for a while and then you have one day where you slip, it doesn't mean all the work you've done is gone, okay? It just means, cool, you've tripped, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get going again. Trust me, you're doing well, okay? Yeah, my youth pastor said that last part in a meeting, and everyone was like, wow, you're copying your youth pastor. Where do you think he got that from? It was from a conversation me and him had. I said it, I was the first, okay? I'm better. I am better. I'm better. I'm better. Yo. Whew. Nice. The tempting thing is you don't want to lift with the traps, so it's trying to keep it there. Then your back stabilizes you as it gets a bit harder, but it was good. Dropped it down to 20. Focus a little more on form now. Okay, so we're going to superset again, but we're going to keep the tricep dips, but instead of doing our normal tricep extensions, we're going to do overhead tricep extensions, also known as a French press. So only difference is really just the positioning of your arms. The idea is you want to keep the elbows locked here as best you can, stand up, and then bring it back down there. It is nice just to put your arm in different positions, to try and work the tricep from different angles. Look, if you only do one tricep exercise, I think you'll get plenty of gains. I think doing this is just like a cherry on top thing. It's not 100% necessary. If there's a tricep movement you really dig and you do that the whole time, dude, in the grand scheme of things, your tricep doesn't know the difference. Just do the exercise that you like. I quite like this, so I'm gonna do it. Okay. Nice. Yeah, so me and my fiance have been engaged for a little while now. We've had people ask for advice, and I've thought about it. And one of the big things is, you know, how to move on from a broken relationship, because unfortunately I've had a few of those. And you know, whether you were the one who was hurt or not, look, if you did something that deserves jail time, go to jail. But if you didn't, and you ended up hurting that person, yeah, it sucks. You can feel bad for a little bit, but what's done is done. You know, recognize your faults, recognize your mistakes, work to improve them for your next relationship, and forgive yourself. You know, there's no point holding on to it at all. Just big thing is forgiving yourself, dude. It's a lesson I'm still learning and still practicing, and it's a tough one to learn, but yeah, you can't hold on to these things. Guilt doesn't get anyone anywhere. It's always a cool feeling when you have to put plates on. Okay, I've never done 35 before. Let's see how this goes. Okay, if I can get like 8. 6 to 8, I'll be happy. Or 6 to 7. Nice. Sick, we got 12. Let me take these off now. Ooh, that definitely felt harder. Nice. Really appreciate a good chest pump. Looking a little watery. A little watery, but it's from all the desserts and fast food this weekend. I think honestly, give it next week, and I honestly think we'll be back to where we were. I mean, abs are still there. What I really want is just that vascularity, you know, all the veins just popping on the arms and the shoulder decks. If I do that, those tend to pop a little bit, but I know it can definitely be a bit more. Well, yeah, chest is good, triceps pumped. It's a good feeling. You've been taking pre-workout, and a lot of people say, oh, it's just the pump, it's just the pump. Yeah, that's the point. I want to feel good in the gym, bro. I mean, that's the point, dude. Like, I want to look good here and feel good here as well. Because if I feel good here, I'll work harder here. I think look, placebo is 100% a big factor when it comes to training. And if you take a pre-workout or something and it helps you push harder, dude, 100%, hell yeah, go for it. Do you need pre-workout to have a good session? No. In the same way you don't need running shoes to run, but it sure as hell helps. So if someone judges you for taking pre-workout, dude, just, you know, forget them, just say okay, and go on. We'll discuss good pre-workouts next week, because I'll show you the one I've been taking. It's quite nice, I enjoy it. But yeah, cool guys. That's a session, back in the gym. I want to know, honestly, what content would you like to see? Because with the move in last week, people really seem to like that video. So if you want more things like that, comment down below what you would like to see. And yeah, hit the subscribe button. That'd be sick. Very, very sick. We're almost at 100, which is super duper cool. Probably, dude, if we can get 100 in the next week or two, that would be so sick. But yeah, thanks for coming along. I hope you learned something and I hope you enjoyed. Bye.